Hello and welcome everybody to another week of Risen Esports League. I am your play-by-play for the night, Cole Culture Gibson. I am joined by my fabulous friend and colorcaster Han. Han, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It's I think the halfway point of the Risen season so far, and hopefully we'll be seeing how these teams are in on the halfway mark, and seeing how the meta has shaped up with the recent LCS play and professional play in general.
Now, if you are wondering why we're not showing 200 IQ versus player of games, it's because 200 IQ had to forfeit this match, unfortunately. So we're going to the backup match of Lane Kingdom versus EOD. I don't say EOD's full name because it's really, really long and don't have that kind of time. But for both these teams, halfway through the season, Lane Kingdom 0-5 on the season, having to kind of kick it in gear before playoffs. They have 5 more weeks, so 5 more attempts to make it 5-5 and give themselves a chance to get into playoffs. While EOD sitting at 3-2, this is where they really have to get some wins to cement their own spot in playoffs and possibly put themselves in that position for first and second in their division. This is a Division 5 versus Division 6 matchup as we're about to start picking bans pretty soon, I'm sure. But Han, you were mentioning this meta, and everyone knows by now it's extremely crazy. We don't really know what's going on. We do know that bot lane has been forever altered and shattered. And otherwise, it's a lot of lanes that are kill lanes, high mobility, a lot of CC, and a lot of early game snowball compositions.
Yes, especially with the Bruiser bot lane. Hopefully, we don't see any of those Bruiser bot lanes because usually unless you're in Korea in the LCK, it's really not gonna work. Especially since AD carries don't usually practice other champions camps other than ADCs, obviously. So I'm expecting to see a normalized camp select, but hopefully these guys can prove me wrong.
And we've also seen things like the funnel comp, right? Where you have a mid lane, either that's where you put your marksman in the mid lane, or in another lane, sometimes jungle as well, where you just funnel all the gold into them. But contrary to popular belief, funnel competitions haven't seen that much success. I know today, if you're watching EULCS, you might have seen G2 pull it off, but if you've been watching LCK, a lot of Korea, its win rate is actually pretty abysmal. And the most successful region right now, the most competitive looking region right now, LPL, they're doing a lot of normal compositions as we are 4 bands into it. We have Alistar, Dr. Mundo, Talon, and Aurelia off the board. That Aurelia extremely strong pick, and Dr. Mundo something we've seen as more of a staple in the top lane ever since 8.11 came out.
Yeah, it's a very good tank pick, and it's probably the best tank pick in the meta right now. The other bands are just generally very good picks in solo queue. So I have nothing against the bands here so far from the teams.
And I was watching actually uh, Splice after their game. I believe that Cold, the jungler for UOL, was being talked to, and he said a lot of the first phase of bans now are being spent banning the more nuanced champions in this meta, getting rid of basically the strongest picks. There's not a lot of denial trying to set up a pick later on. It's just we want these picks that are really, really strong in this meta gone right now. We see that with the Alistar, Vladimir ban, that bottom lane extremely strong, Braum strong as well. And we see EOD actually take Graves first, a really strong, aggressive early jungler that's really reared his head in this meta. And it looks like Lane Kingdom's going to follow up with the Ornn and the Kai'Sa.
I definitely agree with the Graves here. I think Graves is like the best jungler in the meta still. Even through all the changes, the Graves has always been a good pick ever since the changes in the jungle. So I definitely think that's a good pick. Ornn and Kai'Sa, or I'm not sure if Ornn can be line picked here, but the Kai'Sa and Ezreal, those are definitely good picks here. Uh, very strong ADCs, very safe, and definitely do well into the marksman changes.
And I think this is where some of that craziness in the meta right now, the flexibility, because we don't really know. We have an inkling, an idea where this Kai'Sa might go. We usually see her in the bot lane. However, Perks did play her mid this week in EU, and in those funnel goal compositions, Ornn has also been seen in the bottom lane when paired with things like a Darius, double bruiser compositions. It looks like EOD is going more traditional. The Tahm Kench Ezreal lane, it's been seen in Korea, mainly by Gen.G, where it's been their strongest lane combination. But for Lane Kingdom right now, it's just, we don't know where any of these picks are going yet. That could be a support Zoe, mid Zoe, Kai'Sa, mid lane, bot. It's up in the air. Where would you like to see, at least we'll say, the Zoe and Kai'Sa go? Do you think that they might go for a funnel strat, or is it just standard laning here from Lane Kingdom?
I think Lane Kingdom will probably do standard lanes here. I would assume Ornn is going top, Kai'Sa is going bot, Zoe is going mid. But the weird thing is, why is top and mid revealed so early, as opposed to EOD, who picked the standard jungler into bot lane? So maybe Lane Kingdom is throwing us in for a loop. Hopefully, I can't see the first ban from Lane Kingdom, but or the first ban from EOD.
Yeah, remember that both these teams basically lost. I believe it was Lane Kingdom lost at least one ban, and EOD lost two. It was one of those ways around where basically we're gonna miss 3 bans, and the last ban is only gonna come out from what I believe is Lane Kingdom, and that's why they're letting the ban clock run out so long. So EOD is gonna miss 2 bans, which opens up the champion pool exponentially for Lane Kingdom, and
Yeah.
Lane Kingdom gets that last ban. Or no,
Yeah,
I was wrong. Like
EOD gets to ban one champion here. So there's still a lot of junglers up, notably the Trundle, Skarner, still good picks in the meta. I'm definitely wondering what jungler or support LK will pick, because the only supports that have been banned are the Alistar and Braum. So there's still a lot of variety here. Oh, as I say, Trundle, he gets banned.
Right, and there's the Tark that can be picked, as well as Sejuani, something that has popped up now off of 8.12, off of her buffs there. I believe she's going to receive some more buffs on 8.13. She's shown up back in the jungle. Master Yi is there, although it doesn't look like they're lining up for the funnel strat, and you don't usually play Master Yi without the funnel strategy coming out. It looks like it will be the Skarner, like you said, coming out in the jungle. That great pick potential once he gets level 6, can farm up. Kind of not as strong into the Graves, but if it's Graves versus Trundle, I guess you take the Graves over any other matchup that Skarner might face in that jungle.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with this Zoe and the Skarner, all this pick, is that right now EOD already has a pick that can stop anything that pick wants to do, which is the Tahm Kench. He can devour the Ezreal or the Graves. Anyone who gets caught out by the Zoe bubble or the Skarner suppression. So it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird how Lane Kingdom is investing so much in the pick, but I'm definitely interested in seeing how they execute this comp.
Ooh, a Fiora. So we have to think that EOD believes that this will be a top lane Ornn, and honestly, in this meta, I still can't say until we get into the regular lobby and see if they swap around picks. I still can't say for certain it will be a top lane Ornn, but if not, Fiora, great at bullying tanks because of her percent health damage in her kit. One thing I have to point out from Lane King that I am a little bit worried about is the fact that they're going to force their Kai'Sa into the AD build. As we all know, Kai'Sa, the AP build has been selected by many pros and high elo players as the stronger build because of her AP ratio buffs, but because they already have so much magic damage from the Lulu and the Zoe, even if it's a support Lulu, your 2 main carries, if he goes the Kai'Sa AP build, it'll be extremely easy for EOD to build mattresses and cancel out both of the carries from Lane Kingdom.
Yeah. If in fact it will even affect her own lane matchup as well. If Ezreal feels like, oh, Kai'Sa isn't going to be, there's not going to be any AD coming out from Lane Kingdom. He could just go for Triforce instead of Frozen Mallet or no Iceborne Gauntlet, and just dish out a lot more damage and not have to worry about the eight attack damage coming out from Lane Kingdom. So it's definitely I'm definitely gonna be interested in seeing how how the itemization is from both of the ADCs from both teams. Notably, we do have AD carries on both sides, so that means that we're not going to be going into anything crazy. So it's definitely going to be a change of fresh air for this one.
Yeah. Definitely. Just glad nothing casting crazy. This is my first game casting Risen. First game doing play-by-play in a while, to be honest with you, and I'd rather not have to deal with trying to cast double bruiser bot lanes, these crazy funnel compositions, and trying to map those out in fights. One thing, I mean, I hate to sit here and feel like I'm picking on Lane Kingdom, but another thing that I have a feeling will be an issue for them is the fact that they have a pick composition, right? Like you said, they have the Skarner, the Ornn, if he wants to slow people down to try and get an engage going. They want to run at you. Well, EOD not only has a carry in Ezreal and Fizz, they're highly mobile, and Fior, they're highly mobile, and it's going to be hard to track them down. But also, if you are Lane Kingdom, it's going to be really, really hard for them to protect that Kai'Sa. They don't really have a lot of kite and peel against this Fizz, especially this Fizz, who wants to get to their backline and blow this Kai'Sa up before she can be a part of any fights.
Yeah, this is like kind of protect Kai'Sa with the Lulu, but anything else is weird. Also, the lane matchups. Fiora is known to do well into Ornn. She has the riposte that can block any knockups that Ornn wants to do. Fizz has a lot of outplay potential onto the Zoe with his pole dance thing. So he can. So there's definitely a lot of counterplay to from EOD in the solo lanes because they got the counter picks in both top and mid. So I'm just wondering why first pick those camps and not give at least one of your solo lanes the opportunity to counterpick.
And I have to ask you, let's talk about some positive for Lane Kingdom. What do they have to do to pull out a win in this? They've put themselves in what is perceivedly a bad position, but what do you think they have to do? Is it just as simple as getting this Kai'Sa kills and gold, basically just funneling gold into her? Because the Zoe, great wave push in the mid lane, not what I would say is a gold, not gold efficient, but very gold dependent mid laner. As far as the Zoe needs a ton of items to be effective, is it just a plain protect the Kai'Sa and then have Skarner and Ornn find a way to pull somebody into Kai'Sa's range composition that they have to pull off?
I mean, let's just look at EOD's comp. They don't have a lot of tanks. Graves might be going maybe slightly bruiserish. Ezreal is not going to be building that many defenses. Fizz isn't building that many defenses. Fiora isn't going to be building that many defenses. Maybe might go into a bruiser route. Tahm Kench is the only one in the team that's going to have the potential to soak up damage. So Lane Kingdom, if they can find their opportunities, if onto any one of the four champions that isn't tanky, they can definitely burst them down, get advantages on the map through that way. So they have counterplay.
And speaking about that, Graves, tell me what he has to do not to basically, I want to say, give up an advantage to Lane Kingdom. I feel like a lot of this early game for EOD is dependent on this Graves. A little bit of the Graves Fizz 2v2 mid jungle. If Zoe pushes in this Fizz, he's going to have a tough time roaming around, helping out Nita Doherty. But what does Graves have to do to cancel out Skarner before he hits that point to where you have a level 6, a telegraph level 6 all-in that you're going to be able to see come from a mile away. You know, it's one of those comps that you can tell is that Lane Kingdom wants to try and focus on getting a side lane ahead. You're not going to gank for the Zoe. The Zoe doesn't need a whole lot of help in the mid lane unless she falls behind this Fizz somehow. So what does
I think. Wait, I think Zoe's actually going to support here.
Oh my. Oh.
Yeah. So, uh, as suddenly we think that it's all standard, then suddenly Lane Kingdom throws us a curveball, and suddenly it's Lulu mid and Zoe support.
You know, I think what I did, Han, was I jinxed myself. I said, you know, I won't have to cast anything too crazy, and I ruined myself with this. Well, now I'm gonna throw it to you so that I can go cry in a corner really quickly. Kaisa Zoe versus Tom Kinch Ezreal. Who wins this 2v2?
I mean, Ezreal and Tom Kent are relatively safe, as long as they don't put themselves in a position to get caught. They should be able to be fine with Ezreal hitting his power specs, especially if he goes the double tier route. If you don't know, Ezreal has found a new itemization by building into Manamune and then going into Archangel Staff, which allows him to get a lot of AP and AD while having a lot of benefits from both builds. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds because he also gets that shield that it does depend on the percentage amount of mana he has in his pool, but by the time you have 2 double tier items, you have plenty of mana to get a nice healthy shield. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, I've seen Kasing play Zoe support. I don't like Zoe support. I do feel while yes, Zoe isn't a gold dependent champion, she does need to get to that first item, Luden's Echo, relatively quickly to be able to do a ton of damage, in my opinion. At support with the Frost Queen's Claim line, I just don't feel like she has that damage potential like she does in the mid lane to half health someone from a single spell rotation that gives her that dominance because it's support, you don't do that much damage. You know, it's kind of plain and simple out there.
I mean, maybe Marguerite. I mean, something different that could happen. Maybe Marguerite is like, hey, I want to just take Zoe and just go to the mid lane. Wildfire, you go support. I mean, we've seen this with Huni. He went, I believe, ADC and then jungle with the Talia. So I mean, maybe Lane Kingdom is trying to change something because yeah, I definitely Zoe isn't the best support. There's so many champions that aren't as gold dependent and could do a bit more than Zoe in the support role. So I'm just hoping that Zoe isn't going into the support role, but we'll see as we are going to be going into the game pretty soon.
Exactly. We are now in the loading screen. So I'm going to read off the first sign up, Han. I'm going to let you read off the second. On blue, or is that red side? All their banners are blocking it, but I believe it is, yes, blue side. We have EOD with Dawnbringer on the Fiora top lane, Nita Doherty on Graves jungle, Cute Soraka on the Fizz, Human Each One, and Jeffrey93 composing the bottom lane on Ezreal and Tom Kinch.
Yeah, and on the red side we have Or not in the top lane, Garner in the jungle, Lulu. Well, I meant TikTok. Sorry, Or you know what? Haven't done this in a long time.
Just finish it, man. Finish it. They know the names are right there for people to see, man. Don't worry about it.
All right, we got the Bullet Angel Kaisa and Cyberpop Zoe in the bot lane. So it's going to be a pretty interesting match. All the summoners are, I believe, pretty common, except does Zoe take Airy or does she go a Comet?
She does go Airy, just because, yeah, because you're a poke champion, you know, I feel like Kama is more for those bursty champions, like Twisted Fate, where they have a rotation. Where Twisted Fate can be poke, but when you pop a full rotation on somebody, you want that extra damage from Comet. Same for like a Diana. While Margaret on the Zoe is going to want to be able to try and toss out as many Pal stars as he can, and just be overall annoying to the bottom lane. But I still want to harp on this pick because I feel like a Brand, a Zyra can do the same job and be less goal dependent than this
Uh,
Zoe in the bottom lane.
and I think you're right, and I think Lane Kingdom agrees. I see the Zoe hovering around mid lane, and I think that looks like they're making the lane switch.
Oh, thank God. It's a little bit odd, but you know what? It's 8.12. Anything is possible. I mean, we haven't. These are some things that you haven't seen since season 2 through 4, where things are going crazy. Double bruiser bot lanes, people literally swapping roles in the middle of games. EULCS, we saw Bwipo starting in the bottom lane over Reckless, who is basically the perennial superstar of the EULCS. But back to this match right here. Both teams starting off pretty standard. Graves going to start his red buff. Looks like Skarner's going to start his as well. So going to start same buff, but swap opposite pathing. What does it tell you about what they want to do early? Is this a normal pathing, or are they basically telegraphing what their plans will be for this early game?
I mean, usually now junglers are actually starting red, so I mean, Skarner is hopefully going to do the typical Skarner thing where he just full clears, gets 6, and tries to do stuff around the map. Graves is going to be a lot. Can also farm the 6, but he has his gank potential as well with his damage. None of his lanes are particularly helpful in assisting a gank, so I believe that both junglers are going to be pretty uneventful, but they're going to be meeting up soon in the topside river.
Yeah, fighting over this Scuttle Crab, I was just going to mention it before it even happened, that we have to remember that Scuttle Crabs are so important now. We actually have Margarine getting aggressed on by this Fizz in mid lane. Cute Soraka did pop his Ignite onto her. Oh, the Flash Ignite himself. Can Margarine find the kill? He doesn't have the active passive anymore, but he does get first blood. Doesn't need the empowered auto attack to finish that one off. An early 1v1 that Cute Soraka loses. That's going to be very impactful because now this Fizz is going to take a lot longer to be able to try and roam around this map and help find kills in his side lanes.
Yeah, I believe Cute Soraka died before he could get all 3 of his abilities. That's generally something you wouldn't want to happen, but because if Fizz gets behind, it's basically game over at that point. Maybe this is a way for Lane Kingdom to get advantages. Just start killing the Fizz in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Lane Kingdom is in their name, and now this Zoe has this double Doran's ring. He actually did go Hex Flash for that interaction. I haven't seen it yet, but I believe it's something like where you Hex Flash and you don't really go anywhere, but it still gives you the double range and the extra damage. And one thing else that's really deceptive about Zoe sometimes is that passive on her auto attacks, the empowered auto that does give you that extra damage. Even if you don't hit the spell, we do have a pause. We have lag in 2 different lanes, actually. I don't know, the top lane lag message might be just them memeing, but we do have 80 carry lag at the very least. But going back to this mid lane and this Fizz, he is up in CS, but for a Fizz, I don't think that really matters if your main objective to snowball yourself is to find kills, correct?
Yeah, but Zoe is. I don't think it's over for the Fizz yet. As maybe he definitely still has a chance at level 6 to go in with Chum the Waters. So maybe if he fixes up his play, 1 kill isn't that bad, especially with as you said the lane with the CS difference that is apparent in the lane. 6 CS in 3 minutes. So that maybe I definitely think that while it's bad, Cute Soraka can definitely get into the lane.
And I think he also benefits from the Zoe going doubles Dorans, because while she does do more damage, if he can basically dodge a skill shot, because Zoe is a skill shot heavy champion, once he hits level 6, like you said, he has a chance just to all in her, and she doesn't have that that from getting her first item, like being able to get to that lost chapter, or even maybe an amplifying tome to back her up on that one. So he might benefit from her going double Dorans instead of continuing and accelerating her own build path toward that Loon's Echo. So he still has a chance to catch up. But before that actually happened, we were looking at Scuttle Crabs. Now, it does look like Papa Skips and Nita Doherty did trade the Scuttle Crabs on both sides of the jungle. And I was actually really worried for Papa Skips because Scuttle Crabs, as we know now, are everything. They are life in the jungle right now. If you get both Scuttle Crabs, let alone 3 Scuttle Crabs in a row, you can have a 1 to maybe 2 level advantage against your jungle opponent. And for Graves against the Skarner, that's massive.
Yeah, but looks like both junglers are doing standard routes, and Skarner just cleared that much faster. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be. It's definitely gonna be both junglers trying to farm it out. Maybe Graves trying to invade. Maybe Skarner trying to invade because of his Zoe matchup now, since Zoe is that far ahead with the kill, especially with the first blood gold.
And on top of that, like Zoe, like you said, ahead in the mid lane, lane priority. The bottom lane, it appears that Zed and Wildfire have this push going in the bot lane as well. So you're right, he does have a lot of backup from the bot side of his map if he wants to go for an invade. He is a level down to Nito Doherty, but if his laners can respond in time, that can easily be turned into a 3 or 4v1. At the very least, they do have a numbers advantage on the bottom half of the map. And if you're TikTok, you just have to be patient in the top lane, right? You're an Ornn. You're not really looking to try and get a lead in the top lane, especially versus Fiora. It's dangerous for you to try and be aggressive. You just want to be applicable in those team fights while not giving that Fiora the power that she wants to be able to split push and take over the map. Actually, a flash from Jeffrey93 going in for Wildfire. He does land the last proc of the passive. A heal comes out from Sail trying to save his support. They will find a way out of the fight. They did get a flash, however, from Wildfire, so maybe they can exploit that on a return gank soon.
Oh, that was a bit of a misplay coming out from Jeffrey. He flashed in, auto, I believe, Zed instead of Wildfire, and couldn't get the last proc of an acquired taste. So he could have gotten a kill onto Wildfire. So luckily for Lane Kingdom, they escaped the bullet.
And on the top side here, though, Dawnbreaker is going very, very low against his own. He does land the repost on TikTok. Now, TikTok is the one sent running against Dawnbreaker. Mid lane, we have action as well as Margarine taken low. But Dawnbreaker could try and get this kill. No, he doesn't get it on the last proc of the Q. It will be TikTok escaping with a sliver of health. Dawnbreaker low as well. We'll have to be careful. Skarner is hit up to this top side, but that's the power of Fiora, just able to turn around a single fight because of her ability not only to do damage based on missing health, but also if she can proc those passives, then she gets health back so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Ornn was doing pretty well. He just overextended on the trade, trying to chase Fiora into the bush, and just got punished so hard for it. Now, Fiora's gonna get such a great lane. The lane is pushing into her. She can back right now after killing a couple minions, and then TP back, and then this lane would be perfect for a game. I mean, yeah.
And I was just gonna say that he also has the gold for his Tiamat. Just bought it right there, so he's gonna come back, have wave push against the Ornn, be able to trade some of that pressure that his bot lane was lacking in the top lane, and after that gank bot lane by not gank bot lane by Neo Dirty, but after that 2v2 in bot lane, now even Human Each and Jeffrey have the pressure. So now the side lanes for EOD have completely turned around this early game, and now it's the Graves who can try and play aggressive. He's already got this third Scuttler. If for those of you that don't know, after the first 2 are taken, it does spawn randomly. He already has his third, and he's headed top lane right now. TikTok in a lot of trouble. He does use the charge, but the canister does slow him down. Dawnbringer can't get to that last vital proc, so they will run away. Papa Skip's coming back, though. He wants to take this fight. Neo Dirty is there to respond as well. The vitals and the ultimate on the grand challenge is popped. Margarine did join as well. Margarine going low. This is Dawnbringer finding the first kill. He used the repost. Can he find a second? He does. Can he go for a third? TikTok is low. They do find the third kill. Cute Soraka gets that one as well. That is a clean sweep in the top side of the map for the side of EOD, and now they're going to push this top lane turret.
Oh, did you say advantage in the mid lane? Now, with the CS lead and the kills coming out. Oh, looks like there's a kill. Oh, bot lane gets an advantage.
Yeah, Human Each goes down there being a bit too aggressive there in the 2v2, not respecting that Kaisa damage once she gets her own passive on top of his head. She completely deleted him, and now Jeffrey93 is left alone in the bottom lane, but in the top, it looks like EOD will complete this turret, and so in the grand scheme of things, right, it's 3 kills for 1, and you get first brick gold as well. So all in all, getting a almost 2,000 gold lead, you have to feel good if you're EOD, even though Ezreal did fall on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and all of that gold lead is onto the Fiora and the Graves. Looks like there isn't going to be any lane swap here yet because the Dragon is still on the map, but it's definitely a great it's definitely a great advantage in the top lane. Now Fiora can start bullying this Ornn, not allow him to get to his crucial items, and now Fizz is about just even in gold in the mid lane. So there's so it's definitely a turn of events here that's definitely favoring EOD.
And I don't know if you saw that, but Neo Dirty actually used his ultimate in base before walking out. I assume it was a misclick. Either that or he's just flaunting. He just feels he's that far ahead in the game already. He has that moxie. I don't need my ultimate. Who needs an ultimate when I'm needed dirty? You know? As we see Margaret getting that blue buff in the mid lane. Ornn roaming down as well. It looks like Lane Kingdom is trying to find a play to make right here. Skarner as well coming down. He will pass by a ward. The Ornn ultimate is called in as well in the mid lane. They do knock it towards Fizz, but he's too far away. They won't find anything, so that's an Ornn ultimate down. He did just get his TP back up, so at least Lane Kingdom has, you know, they're even in teleports on the map, but that's going to be a major team fight mechanism gone from the side of Lane Kingdom if they decide to fight around this Mountain Drake or the Rift Herald that should be spawning here any second.
That was an vicious Ornn. Yeah, like you said, they can as long as this team from EOD can remain ahead, they'll be able to cash in on this huge late mid game spike from the Fizz, from the Ezreal, from the Fiora. So they can definitely do a lot more in this match than they're doing because of their spikes right now.
And if you're EOD, this is exactly where you want to be. We do see pings on the map. There might be a fight here. Fiora did roam down. He is stunned by Papa Skips. Papa Skips trying to get away, but the canister does slow him. They do get the Grand Challenge down. Doesn't even matter. The Fizz plus the Grand Challenge gets the kill. And now they want to find Margarine, but Margarine does find his way back under turret. Rift Herald is there. They're going to actually continue to invade because they found an Ornn in the top side of the map. He will be able to get away as well. And so that will be a clean kill and a clean escape for the side of EOD as they move towards the Rift Herald pit as well. You're going to take this, take a kill, and that goal lead is going to expand. And before we were talking about that, we were saying how Dawnbringer is putting so much pressure. It was going to have to attract Skarner's attention there because Skarner has helped the Ornn. Well, they attracted them all right. They found him, they killed him, and now they've continued to expand their own lead going past the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, it's definitely a great kill onto in the jungle. It looks like the top mid and jungle are having such great synergy.
Yeah, and we see another fight down here in the bomb lane as Said is eaten. Wildfire actually goes low because of the ultimate from Human Each, and this might be a 2v2 win. It is Jeffrey93 finding the kill on the back end of that Human Each, and Jeffrey cleaning house on the bottom side of the map. And now EOD is winning in every single lane. They're feeling muy macho right here as they're going to continue to push lanes and press their advantage. This turret might go down. Skarner is on his way to trying to defend it, but I don't know if there's much he can do. But Human Each and Jeffrey will have to back away anyways because they're out of a minion wave.
Yeah, it's such a great turn of events. Now, Jeffrey93 redeems himself after misplaying in the first game, in the first time versus Wildfire. Now he gets the brilliant Devour onto the Kaisen, and that opens up 2 kills for the bot lane and a almost 4,000 gold lead on the side of EOD. So definitely a lot of advantages here.
And I wonder if in that fight, if Wildfire had already used his polymorph, because I feel like he could have polymorphed the Ezreal before the True Shot Barrage got off. But I wonder if he already used it before. Either way said, couldn't complete the kill before he was eaten, which gave Human Each a time to get off that ultimate. So well played there by Jeffrey 93. Just great synergy. Like you said, EOD is showing great synergy around the map. Their bot lane is playing very conservative. Yes, we saw them win that 2v2, but they're taking their fights where they know they can get them and being opportunistic, not being over aggressive, because they know as long as they don't feed, the rest of their map is playing exceptionally well and getting their own gold lead. And all this Ezra has to do is scale up. He already has his mana Mune and is working toward that Muramana as we speak.
Yeah. So right now, I'm just wondering, how is EOD going to convert their mid game lead into a mid game win? Because other than this Fiora, who's going to become a late game split pushing monster, the rest of the team from Lane Kingdom actually outskills. Kaisa does well in the late game once she gets 6 items. Zoe notably was notoriously a great late game champ. So definitely excited to see what EOD can do, especially with a Fizz.
It looks like they're going to try and find something to do here. Lane Kingdom trying to find a kill onto the top side. Margaret is in her own 1v1, but on the top end, Dawnbringer trying to stay alive. He does pop the Grand Challenge. If he can get all 4 procs, he can win this fight and turn around. He does get it. He gets 1 kill. Margaret found Fizz in the mid lane. However, he's going to go down here as well. Orin being tracked down by Dawnbringer in the top side. It looks like his days are numbered, but Dawnbringer has attracted the turret attention. Can he find a kill? Oh, he can't find the Q. TikTok still chasing. He can't find it on the back in the charge. Hits his own pillar. So Dawnbringer looks like she'll be able to escape. It will be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of EOD again. Trying to make something happen, but this goalie is just so powerful for EOD that even when they try and find anything, the Fiora too strong, takes a 2v1, and then, yeah, they get a 1-for-1 trade in mid, but what did you really get out of it? And now Rift Trail will be popped on the bomb end as well, so this will be definitely a turret, as Rift Trail basically secures turrets by herself in this meta. Man, Han, EOD just playing this almost flawlessly.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could say about those turn of events is that nice outplay from Margaret dodging the Kill the Waters. But other than that, if she didn't do that, it'd be a 2-for-0. And with EOD gonna get them, probably gonna getting the mid turret. So it's just a lot of consolation prizes, but no chicken dinners being won from Lane Kingdom.
Oh my god! And look how just fearlessly EOD is playing inside Lane Kingdom's jungle right here. You see Neil Dirty taking on Papa Skips early. Then you see cute Soraka try and jump onto Margaret, and it's not like they have a ton of vision in the jungle, but they're just so far ahead right now with almost 6,000 gold advantage against their opponents that it's almost like they don't care if there are multiple members of Lane Kingdom in the jungle, because they know they can take the fight. They're going to take this mid lane turret, they keep pushing, and there's not much that EOD can do about it, or that Lane Kingdom can do about it.
Yeah, with all this anti-pick, I assume they're going to be... Oh, that is very anti...
And look at that. They try and go in and find a pick of their own, but Papa Skips gets taken low. Fizz is saved, eaten by Jeffrey, and now the turnaround is going to happen. TikTok boom, going solo, Margarine as well. All it takes is 1 good Graves ult. I believe he used it earlier to escape, but it doesn't matter. His team is on the back end cleaning up. They'll find the ace right now. We're 16 minutes in. Aces are already going through 13-4, 7,000 gold ahead, and they're pushing a second turret. They're going for this inhibitor turret. EOD looking extremely hard to stop, and this is why they're 3-2, and while Lane Kingdom is 0-5. They play cleaner, while Lane Kingdom just doesn't seem to be able to put things together right now in this mid game.
This is just a lot of question questionable plays here from Lane Kingdom. Why fight when you were 4K down? Especially after your Ornn misses his Ornn ult onto anyone, just failing to execute on the Ram. I mean, and then just have Pop just going on with the Skarner ult, and then with Jeffrey 93 devouring the person that gets caught. There's just a lot of things that are completely wrong.
And talking about getting caught, Jeffrey 93, he might have been typing there, gets caught in the jungle. He didn't DC because I saw him move. But it looks like he might have been caught typing and killed. So that will slow down EOD a little bit, hopefully, if you're Lane Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, the only person that Tom Kench can't save is Tom Kench himself. So a bit unfortunate, but I guess Lane Kingdom will take what they can get. They are down almost 10,000 gold, and they're gonna need every kill they can get from here on out.
Han, irony and catharsis, two things I like when I get some analysis. Thank you, friend. Enlightening.
But anytime.
But yeah, I feel like back to your point about where Lane Kingdom is falling short, it's a little bit of miscommunication, desperation in that fight. TikTok pops at the Call of the Forge God, trying to find something, but the communication just was not there between the team to actually go on that. And then after that, they realized that they used a key team fighting tool, and then were so desperate they tried to follow up on it and conceded not only gold and kills, but the inhibitor, much of their map, and EOD isn't perfect. We see they're not putting out too many wards. Their ward coverage isn't that great, but when Lane Kingdom is conceding things like this, it's a little bit hard for them to find any sort of positives, as TikTok is being found by himself. He does flash after he used the Ram charge to get out of there. So that'll be a flash down for the Ornn. Not the worst thing in the world if you're Lane Kingdom. He is an Ornn. It would have been worse if it was on Margarin or Zed, but even then, it does set up EOD to push this top lane tier 2 turret.
Yeah, and the rotations from Lane Kingdom are just too slow. Bot lane was still in bot lane while the turret was being half held. So the last remaining objective is this bot lane tier 2. Oh, but looks like Lincoln is going in.
And once again, they popped the ornament a little bit early. Udis the Predator popped by Pop and Skip. Seto is in the front line trying to chase down Jeffrey. It looks like they might have found someone on the back end, but the Ornn gets caught by the Fizz, Chum the Waters. They do find a shutdown kill on the Fiora though, so they do find a 1-for-1 trade, top laner for top laner, but what can Lane Kingdom find from this? We saw earlier Margarin is at that point, does have the Luden's Echo and the Sork Shoes, can have help opponents if she finds the full rotation, but will that be enough? They've lost their Ornn. It looks like it is enough to at least push EOD off of the base, but now they're going to take blue buff. Dragon is spawning here in just a second. It is another Mountain Drake. So against the composition like the side of EOD, do you think giving up this Mountain Drake is consequential for the side of Lane Kingdom? It's not, they don't have a terrible siege comp here from EOD in my opinion, so do you think this is something that Wildfire again can concede without feeling too bad about it?
I think this Mountain Dragon is very important for EOD. Now that all that means is that they can take down this Baron that much quicker, but if the jungler goes down, it won't even matter.
And another shutdown kill there for Margarin, and these are the type of things that you would think would help a team get back into a game. Lane Kingdom finding these picks around the map, like you said, it won't matter if they have a double Mountain Drake for a Baron attempt if the jungler is dead when it's time to try and make that attempt.
Yeah, I mean, even though they are down 10,000 gold, they're still a pick comp, and generally 5 versus 4 is still valid, even if you have even if you are down 8k gold or 10k gold. So it doesn't. So right now, Lane Kingdom is just trying to play to their strengths with picking out members, trying to get step down gold, slowly but surely trying to get back into the game. Like I said in the past, Kaisa and Zoe can do a lot of work later in the game, especially with Zoe just nuking people out of this world.
And I agree with you completely. And Lane Kingdom right now, what does a pick composition help you do? It helps you play for the late game. I feel like that's all they really can do at this point is play for the late game. To their advantage, however, is the fact that because there is no traditional tank on the top side, they do spot Margaret on the bottom half of the map, so they do go ahead and start the Baron. It is 4 members here, while the Fiora is in the top side. This could be the fight that Lane Kingdom wants. Jeffrey trying to keep Papa Skips out of the pit. He wants to try and get all 4 of those procs on his path so he can eat him and spit him away from the pit. The Baron is at 2.5 health, but Cito goes in the backline, finds one. Can he get cute Soraka? He does. The shutdown though on the back end from the Fizz, but the Baron is taken by the side of Lane Kingdom. This is their opportunity. Fiora is still pushing for an inhibitor on the top side of the map, but they do find the Baron, they do find the kills. This is exactly what you want to try and stall out the game. The exhaust on top of Dawnbringer. They want to try and chase down the Fiora. I don't believe Predator is there for Papa Skip, so they can't complete the chase. But what a turnaround for the side of Lane Kingdom. That's exactly what they want. Get to that late game by stealing away a Baron. Get this Kai'Sa big, get this Zoe big, and try and make a desperate comeback in this match.
What a blunder coming out from EOD. They sweeped out all of Vision except one ward in the pit from Lane Kingdom. So even though they saw Zoe going into the bot lane, they have all this vision around the pit. Lane Kingdom still had one ward at the time of the Baron inside the pit, so they knew exactly what was happening. So and like I said, they don't have that much of a tanky comp. So once Sed just goes in with the Kai'Sa, it just was lights out. So it just goes to show EOD isn't perfect. Like maybe if they face better teams in Dominate, they might just get exposed. But for now, they're still enjoying an 8K gold lead. But
and Nito Dirty might get caught out here. It looks like he's going to go down. So another pick going over to the side. Lane Kingdom. Don't call it a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. Don't call it a comeback. You have this Kai'Sa, has her Ginsu's and her Nashor's Tooth. You have the Zoe who also is on 2 items. The Orin Call to Forge Out does come through. They do find Jeffrey and Human. Each Human is able to flash away. Jeffrey should go down, but the Kai'Sa follows through, finds the kill on the back end with the ultimate, and now they're going to take this tier 1 turret. Fiora is on the top side, Fizz on the bottom, however, so they have a split push. We might have a base race on our hands, but can Ornn fend off 2 members of EOD by himself? No, another member of Lane Kingdom will go and use his recall as well. It will be the Skarner to try and answer the Fizz, Zoe as well. It looks like Kai'Sa will stay with Lulu, the bottom lane of Lane Kingdom, staying to try and take their own inhibitor. Dawnbringer does use the repost, but he doesn't even get stunned. He goes down. Margaret on a killing spree. Fizz has to back away. So while there are 3 open inhibitors, no inhibitors were even taken. Now Wildfire, he might die here. He will go down. Nito Dirty kills him for his arrogance overstaying. However, an inhibitor trade for all they've been through will be what Lane Kingdom wants, needs, and will completely take after that long sequence of action.
Yeah, right now, Lane Kingdom is always playing a man up. And since they're always playing a man up, slowly but surely they're having advantages in the fights where they shouldn't. And that's the power of this pick comp. That's the power of suddenly Ornn ulting you. That's the power of suddenly Skarner using his suppression. That's the power of Margaret using his sleep with trouble bubble. That's the power of this whole pick comp in general.
And where we were once at a 10,000 gold lead for the side of Lane Kingdom, it's still pretty significant. They're still up about 6,000. However, one thing I do want to point out to you, Han, is we mentioned in pick and bans in the draft phase that Kai'Sa Zoe, if they both were to build AP, they might be in trouble. But because of there's no traditional tank for the side of EOD, no one has built any magic resist on their team. The only magic resist I see is some Merc Treads and then a single no magic mantle coming in, but we might see another fight here. We will. The Kaiser will go into the backline. They do find the Graves. Jeffrey will go down as well. Wildfire almost dying, but he does pop the Wild Growth to stay alive. Jeffrey taking so long to go down. Fizz does actually find a shutdown kill on the set as well. This could be the turnaround that EOD was looking for. This Ezreal is no slouch himself, and they will find one. Human Each still trying to find another kill. Papa Skips having to run away. TikTok Boom actually takes out Cute Soraka on the back end of that fight. And so now, after what seemed like a somewhat chaotic, somewhat split up fight, it'll be a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Lane Kingdom, and now they're going to try and start the Cloud trade. Human Each is still here, however, trying to lay some harass down, but Margaret is here to try and stop him. Oh my god, that damage! Margaret, Rampage, finds the kill, they find the Drake, and they'll back again. And this goal lead is just continually shrinking in favor of Lane Kingdom. EOD has to be nervous. They've even lost a Nexus turret because of super minions after that fight, and it looks like Lane Kingdom might have finally taken control of this match. Kaisa just completed Rabadon's death cap. There's little to no magic resist on the side of EOD. They're looking in a lot of trouble right now, Han.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at what happened in the past. I mean, EOD comes out swinging 15 kills to like 2 or 3, and then suddenly with a 10k gold lead, but then suddenly bang a Baron, bang a couple kills, bang another team fight win, bang another pick, suddenly 3 towers, suddenly inhibitor, and now a turret, one Nexus turret. So now it just looks like EOD's in shatters here.
And while the Fizz is strong, let's look at their team fights, because actually they're going to barrel 5v5 here while the rest of EOD is split across the map. They have found Human Each as well with the Sleepy Bubble Trouble, but the rest of EOD have found their way in. The Chum Noir's has landed on top of the Kaisa, and she is deleted gone. Margarine is next, and now it will be Lane Kingdom sent packing, but Dawnbringer is on the chase. Jeffrey has also found his way into the backline with his ultimate. Human Each is slowly wearing down TikTok Boom. He'll fall down. Oh my goodness, things have collapsed for Lane Kingdom. The humanity of it all, as Human Each is still chasing Papa Skips. There's only 2 members left alive for the side of Lane Kingdom. This might be game. It's a 2v5. Neo Dirty has found the slow, found the engage, found the chase down. Here goes inhibitor number 1. They have 2 options, Han. They can go for 3 inhibitors, or they can try and push for the game. Set is up in 5 seconds, so it looks like they'll only be able to find at least 1 inhibitor because of the inhibitor minions, the super minions pushing themselves for Lane Kingdom. But it feels like we gave them a bucket of milk and they kicked it over if you're the side of Lane Kingdom, man.
I mean, it could be a lot worse. They only suffered a couple kills in the inhibitor. I would have expected 3 in the Baron, but now it looks like they're getting another pick.
Oh my god. Alright, so we see Cute Soraka. He did find Chum Noir's on the back end, but the shields for Sed keeps him alive. They find 2. Can they clear up the rest of the fight? Sed still going strong. He's a monster right now. A double kill. Can he find the triple? Neo Dirty has to run away. He can't land the W, so he can't use his ultimate to try and find him. But the Orin Call of the Forge God will slow down Neo Dirty. He did have the QSS though, so he doesn't fully proc the slow. He's hiding in the bush. He wants to try and survive, but he can't. You're right, they can end right now. Orin does have his TP up. He could try and at least TP for that inhibitor, but instead they'll take the fight win. They'll take that.
Baron, go Baron.
Open. Go Baron, please. Han is begging you, and it looks like that's what they'll do after winning that fight 4-for-1.
Oh, I mean, it's just a clown fiesta now. I mean, I thought we wouldn't see such a chaotic game in such a normal team comp, but this is it's probably the most exciting game you will ever see in Risen this week, or maybe this entire year.
And you have to think that both the if you're Lane Kingdom, you're 0-5. No one expects this from an 0-5 team. And yes, EOD is imperfect, they're 3-2, but Lane Kingdom is 0-5, and they are giving EOD a run for their money here. We do have another pause. It appears that another member of EOD is having some issues as well. So now we get a chance to settle down a little bit. to steal ourselves for the next however many minutes left we have in this game. Looking at builds, this Kaisa, she has the upgraded Rabadon's Death Cap from the Ornn. Ornn has the Righteous Glory as well. So what didn't really start off as a gold funnel strat, protect the Kaisa strat initially, it's basically heading that way because we saw in that last fight the shields from both the Kaisa ultimate and from the Lulu Wild growth and her own help picks were ridiculous. It kept Set alive, allowed him to completely take over that fight and get that triple kill.
Yeah, and I mean, let's look at looking at the gold, right? This 5K gold lead that EOD has, that's mostly all on Fiora, and who is 5K up on Ornn. The rest, the main carries. Kaisa is 2K up over Ezreal. Right now, Zoe is 1.5K up on Fizz. So right now, even though the accumulative gold from the teams might mislead you, right now, Lincoln is right where they want to be, and right now they're looking to get their first game and hopefully their first win in Risen.
And Han, you mentioned earlier that this team from Lincoln scales better, and we're getting to that point in the game where Goldie doesn't even matter anymore. Yes, it's only 31 minutes. We're used to saying that like 40-minute period, but 30 minutes in, we're getting to a point where everyone has their arms just about. Gold doesn't really matter at this point, and Lane Kingdom, as long as they don't make any mistakes, seem to have the better team fighting composition because while Fiora is strong in a 1v1, even 3v1 situation, in team fights, she isn't the best person to rely on for your team, and a lot of it is on Cute Soraka's head to try and find the deletion on top of Zed, and if he doesn't find it on top of Zed or Margarine, then there's no real follow-up for the side of EOD as the first inhibitor falls for EOD, and the rest of Lane Kingdom, they're going to play this smart. They're going to back away, taking that inhibitor, lay down some vision, get some waves pushing, get ready for these objectives, because the next dragon up will be at Cloud. We're not at Elder Drake yet, but it'll be the next objective fought at because Baron is nowhere near being up, and it's 1 minute until the objective, and they still have some standing gold on the map in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, if unless they were confident in their team fights, all they need to do is Kaisa has to stay alive. As long as Kaisa stays alive, they will mostly always have a chance. So right now they're just pushing on the bot lane, pushing down all the turrets, getting all this free gold, as you have said.
Now they're going to look for it. They do pull in the Graves. They make him use his QSS. So now Neo Dirty has no escape for a future team fight. Skarner's ultimate does have a pretty long cooldown, but it might not matter. They can keep finding people. Wildfire has been caught by the Thunder North on the back end. He is deleted and exploded. However, Cute Soraka pays for his life as Zed goes on a rampage. Is that the target you really wanted, Fizz? I don't think so. They find another kill on the back end. Human each goes down. And
You're so low.
Oh my god. And things have exploded. It's over. The game is over. It's done. If you're the side of EOD, why contest those turrets as Lane Kingdom will push and they will finish the game and take game 1 of this series in week 7 of Risen Esports League.
Oh my goodness. That one ward in the back of the pit from Lane Kingdom turns this whole game around. Props to Zed, props to Margarine for carrying this game for Lane Kingdom, and right now it's going to be 1-0 on the side of Lane Kingdom, and it looks like we might have a 3-game series here on stream.
If you're EOD, Han, what do you fix going in the game 2? I feel like they gave up so much map pressure by just getting picked off continuously by Lane Kingdom. Give me your thoughts, because I'm flabbergasted by the fact that Lane Kingdom was even able to come back in that game, given the humongous goal deficit they were sitting at around the 20-minute mark.
I mean, looking at the damage charts, there's no one that really stands out from EOD. But looking at the young start from Lane Kingdom, third Zoe at 34K is just outclasses anyone from her team and the enemy team. So it was just a carry pants from the Zoe. So you just have to tip your hat to Margarine, and I mean they did all they could. They top mid and jungle were just humming along splendidly, but it's just that they couldn't get they just couldn't convert. I mean, if they got that Baron, if that one ward in the back didn't catch them out, maybe we'd be saying, "Oh my goodness, it was such a stomp coming out from EOD." But now, Lane Kingdom just played around each other and used their advantage as a pick comp to secure the first one.
And you're right, Margarine deserves so many props this game. If you look at Lane Kingdom's roster, I believe he's a sub, but even as a sub, he's not even their starting mid laner. Wildfire is. So big props to him able to step into the mid lane. And you're right, he facilitated so many of their engagements because not only did he, and their picks, because that sleepy bubble trouble, man, just he hits so many key targets with that, finding picks not only in jungle, but in team fights, allowing Ornn to be able to pop his own call, the Forge God, which then also allowed Skarner to catch up with said target, pull them in, dealing massive damage later in the game as well. If we had an MVP vote, I would have to give it to Margarine because he just, I mean, he set them up so well for so many of their fights.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. I remember one play where Ezreal Ornn caught the Ezreal in the tri-brush, and then Zoe just comes in with the huge paddle start into the auto and just deleted the Ezreal. And that's the thing; they always found a way to get a pick onto these guys. And I mean, Lane Kingdom. I hope to see more from them in the upcoming game.
And while the Fiora was nice, I think you have to say that if you're EOD and going to play a composition like that, you need a second tank to go along with that Tom Kinch, especially someone with more engage. Because, yeah, while they did find early leads, a lot of them off of Lane Kingdom making a few misplays, and a lot of it just Lane Kingdom also being slow on rotations. They didn't have any other tanks to help start fights for them. If you're the side of EOD,
I mean, I think EOD did fine. I mean, other than the in the mid game where they gave up Baron and then the rest of the events after that. But other than that, they played well. They got a 10K gold lead in the they got a 10K gold lead, and they definitely had this game won, but they just lost it themselves. Basically, there's no other way to put it.
Well, hopefully, EOD can come back and not give away a game-changing Baron at 20 minutes in our next game. When we come back, it will be Lane Kingdom trying to solidify their first series win in the Risen Esports Dominant League, while EOD trying to make it a series and take us to a game 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.